Your fear, that's the problem. The fear of gaining it back, you're not going to if you are not eating too much food. Let's take another question. This one's from Olivia Chapman. And again, if you want your question featured, you could drop in the comments below with the hashtag APS. Ask Papa Swolio. Olivia says, or asks Papa Swolio, how do you stop the fear of gaining weight back on if you are underweight after weight loss? I would just get more analytical with it. If you're not eating in ridiculous excess, you're not going to gain all the weight back. You never will, unless you're in excessive surplus and you're just stuffing your face over and over again. The fear is irrational. Just because you're afraid of something, just because you have a feeling doesn't mean it's a rational feeling, doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. It's like worrying about something. You have anxiety about something that doesn't even fucking exist. You're worrying about something in the future. You're worrying about something that doesn't need to be worried about, that doesn't exist, that hasn't happened. So it's a very irrational fear. And my recommendation would be just to get analytical about it. If you're eating slightly more than you're utilizing, you're not going to gain all of it back. You have to really stuff your face for months to gain all that weight back if you lost a lot of weight. So it's not going to happen overnight. So stopping the fear, meditation, mindfulness, you can measure, you could track calories, but it's not just going to magically appear again. So it's focusing on those habits and staying consistent. That way you're not falling off the wagon and going back into old habits, which is why you were overweight and obese to begin with. So just some thoughts on it. But for those of you that have, any of you in the comments now that have had fear of gaining weight back, very common, very irrational. But at the same time, you can gain the weight back. It's just an objective fact. You can gain the weight back if you stuff your face over and over again. But if you don't do that, you're not going to gain all the weight back. So that's good news. That's good news. That's good news, right? It's good news. It's just as hard to gain weight as it is to lose weight. It really is. I mean, it's easier to gain weight, I suppose, because you feed those addictions, but it's plus or minus. You're eating more than you need or you're eating less than you need. You're going to lose weight or you're going to gain weight. Quite simple. The thing is, if you're actually tracking your calories, what's really going to happen? Most people don't burn anywhere near what they think. So for many people, eating 2,000 calories a day is more than they need. A lot of people utilize maybe over 1,000, maybe 1,500, 1,600, and they're eating 2,000, 2,200 doesn't feel like a lot, and they gain weight, which you will over time. So most people that are generally sedentary don't utilize as much as they think. And that 2,000 calorie average is a lot for a lot of people. And that's, I think, one of the fundamental problems is that government regulation is like, hey, everything's based on a 2,000 calorie a day diet. For a lot of people, that's a bulking diet. For a lot of people, you're going to gain weight because you're barely doing anything. You're sitting around all the time. It's very easy to go over that. You start getting 2,100, 22, 23, 200 or 300 calories extra a day. You're going to pack on a lot of weight pretty quickly. So Steve, not necessarily, Papa. I can eat all day long and not gain any weight. I guess about the individual. Well, you're not eating as much as you're expending. That's just simple math. So you're just not eating as much as you think you are. You can eat all day long. You're not eating as much as you are utilizing from an energy balance standpoint. Otherwise, you would gain weight. You disagree with what? How does that disagree with me? If she fears gaining it all back, she may be aware that she tends towards binging and crap food. Of course. It doesn't mean that it changes the facts. Again, your fear, that's the problem. The fear of gaining it back, you're not going to if you are not eating too much food. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to eat 1,000 calories a day and just bulk. So it's really about how much extra you're consuming. So for some people, you need to see it black and white. For some people, you need to track more so it rationalizes you. Okay, this is objectively 100 calories more than I need. This is objectively 200 calories more, and you can track it. That can help. This is why intuitive eating is not always a good idea. Hey, just intuitively eat. And then people intuitively eat and they stuff their face, and then guess what happens? They fucking binge and they just get huge again, because intuitive eating is not good in a society with all these addictions and triggers and these unhealthy artificial foods. And that's a huge problem. You can't intuitively eat in an artificial environment. It's really hard to get food in nature. And every single one of us, except for a few of you that actually go and hunt or farm, all of us would be pretty much fucked if we were in the wild. You'd be fundamentally fucked because there's no way to get all the food and the calories you're used to getting. You would be endlessly hunting and gathering and scraping, and it would just be a lot of caloric expenditure until you actually made your kill, until you actually gathered the food. And that's why fasting is natural. That's why not having food in your body is natural. You're not supposed to always be satisfied. That was a rare occurrence in general. But now today, we're always inundated with calories. There's no shortage. We don't have any opportunity to even feel hungry. Now we feel we're starving. We're so hungry with the rare occurrence where we're not with food for 2 hours. You know, we eat at 12 o'clock and all of a sudden, oh my God, at 4 o'clock, oh my God, I'm starving. You haven't eaten for 4 fucking hours. If you were in the woods hunting and gathering, you might go 3 days without food. So it's just a difference from the normal. We're used to having food all the time. So now when something's different than our normal state, which is a couple hours without food, all of a sudden we're starving and we don't know what to do with ourselves. And we have hunger pains. Oh my God, I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry. Are you really that hungry, or are you just without food for the first time in your life? So it's a weird thing, and your body gets very used to whatever pattern you put it under. It's adaptation, just like with weights and with exercise, with yoga, with mobility, with sleep. Anytime you're breaking off your average or breaking off your routine, it's going to be different.
That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you laid. What kind of game is you playing? We go hard in the paint. We go hard in the paint. What the fuck is you saying? I only go where they pay. What kind of game is you playing? Whoa, my shit is relevant. On topic, my melanin is popping. I'm taking skeletons on closets and making new deposits. I'm in my element, no ollies. You children popping.